The perfect babysitter. Emma and Jake had finally found the perfect babysitter. For months, the young
Just a
couple in a
sec, Noah.
quiet
I'm
neighborhood
done for today.
outside
Sorry I had to
Seattle
cancel.
had struggled to find
Again?
someone they could trust with their 2-year-old son, Noah. Every babysitter they tried either canceled at the last minute, seemed distracted, or simply didn't connect well with their little boy. But then they met Lily. Lily was 22, polite, soft-spoken, and incredibly patient with children. She had glowing reviews from other families and even volunteered at a daycare center on weekends. The first night she babysat Noah, everything went perfectly. When Emma and Jake returned home from dinner, Noah was asleep, the toys were organized, the kitchen was spotless, and Lily had even written a small note about Noah's evening. Dinner at 6:30, bath at 7:15, bedtime story at 7:45, fell asleep quickly. Emma looked at Jake and smiled. This girl is amazing. Soon, Lily became their regular babysitter, twice a week, sometimes more. Noah seemed comfortable around her, and Lily always followed every instruction perfectly. But after about 3 weeks, Emma began noticing something strange. Whenever Lily arrived at the house, Noah would suddenly become very quiet. Not scared, but unusually silent. Instead of running to greet her like he did with other visitors, he would just stare at her. Emma thought maybe it was just toddler behavior. Kids can be unpredictable. One evening, before leaving for dinner, Emma knelt beside Noah and asked playfully, "Are you going to have fun with Lily tonight?" Noah looked at the babysitter standing in the hallway. Then he slowly said something that made Emma freeze for a second. "Lily talks to the man when you go." Emma laughed nervously. What man? But Noah didn't answer. He just stared at Lily. And Lily looked strangely uncomfortable. But what Emma didn't realize yet, that one sentence was only the beginning, and the next thing Noah would say would be far more disturbing. The strange sentence. At first, Emma brushed off Noah's comment. After all, he was only 2 years old. Toddlers say random things all the time. Their imagination runs wild, and sometimes their words don't even make sense. Still, something about the way Noah said it bothered her. Lily talks to the man when you go. The sentence replayed in Emma's mind during dinner. Jake laughed when she mentioned it. Maybe he saw someone outside the window or something. Or maybe he meant the TV, Jake added. Emma tried to relax. When they returned home later that night, Lily greeted them with the same warm smile. "Everything went great," she said. "Noah ate well and fell asleep around 8. Just like always. Nothing seemed wrong. But over the next few weeks, the same strange pattern continued. Whenever Lily arrived, Noah would grow quiet. He would sit on the couch and just watch her. One afternoon, Emma decided to ask him again while Lily was in the kitchen preparing Noah's snack. "Noah," Emma said softly, "you said Lily talks to a man. What man?" Noah looked toward the kitchen. Then he leaned closer to Emma and whispered something that made her stomach tighten. "The man in the wall." Emma felt a chill run down her spine. The wall? Noah nodded slowly. "He talks to Lily." Emma tried to stay calm. "Where is the wall?" Noah pointed directly toward the hallway that led to the basement door. Emma stared in that direction. The house was old, built in the 1970s. There was nothing unusual about the basement, at least nothing they had ever noticed. Still, Emma couldn't ignore the feeling growing in her chest. Later that night, after Lily left, Emma mentioned it to Jake again. This time, Jake didn't laugh. Instead, he said something that made the situation suddenly feel much more serious. "Maybe we should check the security cameras." Emma blinked. "You mean the baby monitor camera?" Jake nodded slowly.
Yeah, because if Noah is talking about someone, we need to know who. But what they were about to see on that camera would make them question everything they thought they knew about Lily, and the footage would reveal something they never expected.
The camera footage. That night, after Noah was asleep,
Is the
Emma
baby
and
monitor
Jake
on?
sat together in the living
Yeah,
room.
blaming it now.
Jake opened the baby
I know,
monitor app on
everything's
his
okay.
phone. The camera in Noah's room automatically saved recordings whenever it detected movement or sound. Emma felt nervous as Jake scrolled through the past few nights. "Let's look at
Let's
last
check the footage
Tuesday,"
from
he
last
said.
Tuesday.
That was
Okay,
when
pull
Noah
it up.
first said something
Here
weird.
it is.
The
Everything
video
looks normal.
loaded. At first, everything looked normal. Lily was sitting on the floor reading Noah a bedtime story. Her voice was calm and gentle. Noah looked relaxed. Emma felt slightly relieved. "See, everything's fine." But then Jake paused the video. Wait. Lily had suddenly stopped reading. She looked directly toward the bedroom door. Then she stood up. Emma leaned closer to the screen. What is she doing? Lily slowly walked out of Noah's room, but before leaving the room completely, she said something quietly, something the microphone barely picked up. Jake increased the volume. The audio became clearer. Lily whispered, "He's asleep now." Emma frowned. Who is she talking to? Jake continued the video. The camera showed Lily stepping into the hallway. Then the video cut off. Emma looked confused. Why did it stop? Jake checked the timeline. That's weird. There's a 20-minute gap. Emma's heart began to race. The camera shouldn't stop recording like that. Jake nodded. Exactly. They checked another night, and another. Every single time Lily babysat, there was a missing section in the recordings. 10 minutes, sometimes 20. Emma felt a growing sense of fear. Why would someone turn off the camera? Jake didn't answer right away. Then he said something quietly. The camera can only be turned off from inside the house. Emma slowly looked toward the hallway leading to the basement, the same hallway Noah had pointed to earlier. Suddenly, Emma remembered Noah's whisper, "The man in the wall." Jake closed the phone slowly. "I think tomorrow we need to check that basement." But neither of them were prepared for what they would find down there, because the basement was hiding a secret that had been there long before they moved into the house. The basement secret. The next afternoon, Emma stayed home from work. Jake came back early. Neither of them mentioned it to Lily, but both of them had made the same decision. Before Lily arrived that evening, they were going to check the basement. The basement door creaked as Jake slowly opened it. A cold draft of air moved up the staircase. Emma wrapped her arms around herself. Why does it feel so cold down there? Jake turned on the light switch. The basement lights flickered on. The space looked normal at first. Old boxes, storage shelves, a washing machine in the corner. Nothing unusual. Emma sighed with relief. Maybe Noah was just imagining things. But Jake wasn't convinced. He walked slowly along the back wall. Then he stopped. "Emma, come look at this." Emma stepped closer. On the far wall, behind a large wooden shelf, there was something strange. A thin, rectangular outline in the wall, almost like a hidden door. Jake moved the shelf aside. Behind it was a small panel. Emma's heart started pounding. Is that? Jake slowly pulled it open. Inside the wall was a narrow crawl space, just big enough for a person to sit. Emma covered her mouth. Oh my God! Inside the crawl space were blankets, a small flashlight, water bottles, and something else, a second phone. Jake picked it up carefully. Someone has been staying here. Emma's mind raced. Are you saying someone has been living inside our walls? Jake looked at her seriously. Maybe. But the bigger question is, who was Lily talking to? Just then,
Emma's phone buzzed. It was a text from Lily. "I'm here." Emma looked at Jake. Their babysitter had just arrived, and suddenly the situation had become far more dangerous, because if Lily wasn't alone, someone else might already be inside the house. The truth revealed. Emma's hands trembled as she read the message from Lily. "I'm here," Jake whispered quickly. "Act normal." Emma walked upstairs and opened the front door. Lily stood there smiling, just like always. "Hi, Emma." Emma forced a polite smile. "Hi, Lily." But now Emma couldn't stop noticing things she had ignored before. The way Lily's eyes quickly scanned the hallway, the way she glanced toward the basement door. Jake stayed in the living room, pretending to check emails on his laptop. Lily walked in and greeted Noah, but Noah didn't run to her. Instead, he hid slightly behind Emma's leg. Then he said quietly, "The man is here today." Emma felt her heart skip. Lily froze for just a second. Then she laughed nervously. "Kids say the funniest things." Jake stood up slowly. "Actually, Lily, we need to talk." Her smile faded. Jake placed the phone they found on the table. "We found this in our basement." For the first time since they met her, Lily looked scared. Real fear. "Where did you find that?" she asked. "In the wall," Jake replied calmly. Silence filled the room. Then Lily sighed and sat down. "Okay, I'll tell you the truth." She explained everything. Months before Emma and Jake bought the house, Lily's older brother had secretly been staying in the crawl space. He had lost his job and was hiding from people he owed money to. When Emma and Jake moved in, Lily got the babysitting job just to check if the space was still usable. Sometimes her brother would still come back at night just to rest. Emma felt shocked. "You let a stranger secretly live inside our house?" Lily looked ashamed. "I never meant for you to find out." Jake shook his head. "This could have been very dangerous." Emma looked at Noah and suddenly realized something chilling. If Noah had never spoken up, they might never have known. But the biggest lesson from this story was something every parent should remember, because sometimes the smallest voices tell the most important truths.
The lesson. After that night, Lily never came back to the house again. Emma and Jake immediately contacted the police and explained everything they had discovered in the basement. Thankfully, Lily's brother had already disappeared and was never found inside the house again. But the experience left a deep impact on the family. For weeks, Emma couldn't stop thinking about how close they had come to something much worse. Someone had been secretly entering their home, sleeping inside their walls, and they had no idea. If Noah hadn't said that one strange sentence, "Lily talks to the man when you go," they might never have discovered the truth. Emma also realized something important about children. Kids often notice things adults overlook. They see details, they feel energy, and sometimes they speak simple truths that adults ignore because they sound too strange. Jake later installed new security cameras around the entire house. They also had the crawl space sealed permanently. But the biggest change wasn't in the house. It was in how they listened to their son. From that day forward, whenever Noah said something unusual, they paid attention. Because sometimes the smallest voice in the room is the one telling the most important story. Life lesson. Sometimes we ignore small warnings because they seem silly or impossible, but real wisdom comes from listening carefully, even when the truth comes from unexpected places. Children, instincts, and small details often reveal dangers before adults notice them. So always pay attention, because one simple sentence can sometimes uncover the truth that everyone else missed.